Gosh, the internet really likes to complain about Batman, doesn't it? Batman Fleck was roundly booed from the rafters. Before him, Heath Ledger had millions of noses turned up at his Pretty Boy Joker announcement, and had Twitter been around in 1989, it probably would have shat itself when Michael Keaton was cast. Bat fans always need something to complain about, and I know I'm one of them, but imagine the reaction if some of these guys had actually made it through the selection process, because some of the actors tentatively attached to the role of Bats made Ben Affleck look like Orson Welles. I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and here are 10 actors who were almost cast as Batman. Number 10, Heath Ledger. Before he was cast as the Joker in The Dark Knight, you may have seen it, the Aussie rising star was under consideration for the lead in Chris Nolan's reboot prequel Batman Begins. According to the director himself, the pair met to discuss the possibility, but Ledger apparently told the director he would, quote, never take part in a superhero film. Thankfully, he changed his mind later, and though his take on Batman probably would have been very interesting, we would have been robbed of one of the greatest ever comic book movie performances in his take of the Crown Prince of Crime. Number 9, Tom Selleck. The magnificently mustachioed star doesn't have so much luck when it comes to missing out on iconic lead roles. He's infamously got to the final stages of Indiana Jones, including shooting some test footage before his selfish Magnum PI bosses pointed out his ironclad contract. Not only that, but when it came to Tim Burton casting his Batman, Selleck was one of the names linked heavily. Sure, he's got one of the most luxurious moustaches in the history of facial furniture, but Selleck, he may just have been too clean-cut to pull off the necessary edge. And plus, the logistics of having a moustache on the inside of his cowl would have been bastard itchy. Number 8, Ethan Hawke. Back when Joel Schumacher was still considered a good option to replace Tim Burton on the franchise, a more innocent time, the studio was scouring the known world for an actor to step into the boots of the excellent Michael Keaton, and the shortlist they drew included Ethan Hawke, who had made some waves with Dead Poet Society, Alive, and White Fang. Ultimately, Val Kilmer was cast, and Hawke turned down the opportunity, citing concerns over the effect on his acting credibility, and this was before The Purge. Number 7, Johnny Depp. Another one on the early list for Batman Forever, possibly because of his close links with outgoing Batman director Tim Burton. Depp would certainly have brought something different to the role than Val Kilmer, but his association with the film never seemed to get beyond the talking stages. Thankfully, Depp is just too quirky. He might have made a reasonable Batman. He could channel his inner theatricality, and Depp's film career proves he's adept at playing with silly headgear, but he just doesn't have the right charm or poise for Bruce Wayne. At least I think that at least. Number 6, Jake Gyllenhaal. Before Christian Bale brought his now infamous growl to Nolan's Bat franchise,
I'm Batman.
Having been initially turned down for the role of Robin in Schumacher's iteration of the franchise. Gosh, I didn't know that. Jake Gyllenhaal, who also just missed out on Spider-Man for his weird twin Tobey Maguire nabbed it, was one of the names strongly attached to the role as a Cape Crusader. In fact, Gyllenhaal had the backing of David S. Goyer before auditions, though the writer was ultimately swayed by Christian Bale, and we were all spared the sight of Jake and sister Maggie getting romantic in The Dark Knight. Number 5, Joshua Jackson. Along with Gyllenhaal, and perhaps considered for the same reasons as the former Donnie Darko lead, Joshua Jackson was considered for Chris Nolan's reboot of the series. Presumably, Nolan saw enough of the grit and steel he needed for his Bat in Jackson's edgy performances as Pacey in Dawson's Creek and Charlie in The Mighty Ducks. Had this rather unwanted Dawson's Creek reunion actually happened, at least Katie Holmes wouldn't have been quite so obvious as the worst casting choice in any Nolan film. Number 4, Ashton Kutcher. Nope, no, really. 2.5 Men's Ashton Kutcher, that Ashton Kutcher, was actually considered by Christopher Nolan. Now, I don't think I'm being unfair to Ashton Kutcher when I say the idea of him playing Batman is bad. He would have been like a fish on a bicycle, he would have been lost, he would have been confused, and eaten alive. I don't know, I'm still drunk. Number 3, William Baldwin. Hot on the heels of successes with Flatliners and Backdraft, the second best Baldwin brother was reportedly considered for Batman Forever before it went to Val Kilmer. And you can see why he might have been considered, given how almost every single Batman actor has basically copied an extreme version of Baldwin's raspy voice to various degrees.
Can I persuade you to take a sandwich with you, sir?
I'll get drive-through.
But alas, he wasn't quite as total box office as Val Kilmer, and who is, and the casting directors ultimately went in a different direction. As a side note, the quality of his voice work did get the inevitable and wholly justified acknowledgement when he voiced Batman for Justice League Crisis on Two Earths in 2010.
Sorry, you're not my type.
Number 2, Charlie Sheen. What? Back in 1989, well before he went full mental on a cocktail of tiger blood and each and every drug, Charlie Sheen was one of the hottest rising stars in Hollywood. He had a string of successes in the shape of Platoon, Wall Street, Young Guns, and 8 Men Out. That reputation was enough to push him close to Tim Burton's Batman, at least at the stage of talks being held, which is good enough to earn him a place on this list. Mercifully, that's as far as they went, and he was free to go about assassinating his credibility with 2.5 Men and Anger Management. Seriously though, why did they want people from 2.5 Men to be Batman? Is the little kid going to grow up to be Batman? And number 1, Bill Murray. Bill Murray is one of those actors who at one stage was linked to pretty much everything. He's been touted as choices for Bad Santa, Toy Story, Forrest Gump, and The Witches of Eastwick, all of which he would have suited in one way or another, maybe. But the Ghostbusters star was also in the running for Batman. I don't get it. Before Tim Burton got involved and after the success of Ghostbusters, director Ivan Reitman was drafted into direct a script titled The Batman. Reitman's choice for Batsy was Bill Murray, and for the Joker, he wanted David Bowie. I have to see this film. And now thankfully with Grand Moff Tarkin technology, maybe one day I can. And that's our list. Did we miss any out? Tell us about it in the comments. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter here. I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com and I'll see you soon.